you're trying to keep up with the tech world, it can feel like drinking from a fire hose, especially, right after a huge event like Microsoft Ignite. It's information overload. So that's our mission today. We're going to do a deep dive using a really well put together stack of sources, the November 24 and 2025 edition of the newsletter, Technical News You Can Possibly Use. And this isn't just about headlines. We're looking at the big architectural shifts happening across the industry right now.
Exactly. And when you actually filter through all that noise, there's one single story that just pops out across all 8 areas in this newsletter. The industry has stopped talking about AI and agents. It's now building the real foundations for them. We're seeing concepts move to general availability. I mean, this is becoming the actual architecture for everything.
So it's moving from theory to real embedded intelligence.
That's it.
So if you, the learner, want to understand what this all means for your job, we've structured this deep dive to hit all the key spots: Azure, M365, Power Platform, DevOps, data and AI, security, learning, and then the bigger industry trends. We're going to connect the dots. Okay, let's unpack this. And we have to start where everything starts now, the cloud foundation. Looking at the Azure updates, it is so clear Microsoft is redesigning its cloud for AI. I mean, 2 big platform announcements really jump out at me.
They're the cornerstones, really. You have Azure Horizon DB and Microsoft Foundry. And Horizon DB isn't just, another database. The sources are pointing to it being this geo-redundant, super distributed context store. It's built for the speed that intelligent agents need to access data.
So it's about making data available for reasoning, instantly.
Instantly. And then you have Microsoft Foundry.
Right. And the description is so simple: build and scale AI agents. But why a whole new platform? Why not just use Kubernetes or Azure functions?
Because the agent lifecycle is completely different. It's not like a normal application. Foundry gives you the standardized environments to test how they interact with each other. It's for multi-agent systems. It also has governance and telemetry built in. It treats the agent as a first-class citizen in the cloud.
Okay, so this is that intelligent cloud news we heard about at Ignite, but in practice, agents are now a primary application type.
A primary type, exactly. And it needs its own infrastructure.
So beyond these huge strategic platforms, I also see some focus on the, let's say, practical side. The day-to-day. We have this new admin tool, Windows Admin Center, virtualization mode, vMode.
Yeah, that's the reality check, right? We're building these incredible AI systems, but we still have to manage our servers. The really important operational update here is the new hybrid deployment options for Azure Virtual Desktop. Think about it. Everyone's workforce is dispersed. Companies need to use their on-prem hardware for things like low-latency VDI, but they still want that central cloud control.
And this gives them that bridge.
It's the bridge they've been asking for.
Okay, so from the cloud foundation, let's move up the stack to where the user is. M365. This is where agents really hit the desktop. It feels like it's becoming less of a suite of tools and more of a control center for automation.
That's the perfect way to put it. And the centerpiece is Microsoft Agent 365. The newsletter calls it the control plane for AI agents. Now, that description is simple, but the implication is, it's huge.
What do you mean?
It means that IT departments are now suddenly on the hook for auditing prompts, outputs, and the security of every single AI workflow in the entire company.
Wow. Okay, that's not just a cool new feature.
No, it's a massive new governance burden.
Which raises a huge question about compliance, doesn't it? How do you stop a co-pilot agent from grabbing data it shouldn't have access to?
Precisely. And Agent 365 is the attempt to centralize that, to tie it all back to existing security policies. But for the user, it's all about the specific integrations, like the new dedicated Word, Excel, and PowerPoint agents inside of Copilot.
Can you give us a real-world example? How does this change my Tuesday morning?
Okay, so take Excel. Instead of you spending 2 hours building a pivot table and analyzing last quarter's numbers, the Excel agent can take the raw data and you just tell it in plain English, find and flag any budget variance over 10%. And it autonomously generates the charts, the commentary, everything. It takes the action and doesn't just draft something for you.
That's a fundamental shift.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing Microsoft 365 Local become generally available, which is huge for regulated industries that need data to stay put.
And the Windows 365 updates.
They're all about optimizing the cloud PC for AI workloads, basically, making sure it's powerful enough and flexible with things like apps on demand.
Okay, now let's get into the low-code space. This is where things could get really interesting really fast. The term being used is agentic business transformation.
That's it. And agentic is the key word. It means we're moving from a simple step-by-step workflow to an intelligent system that can actually make decisions and react.
And the tool for that is Copilot Studio.
Copilot Studio is positioned as the foundation for this. It's the orchestration layer for your business process agents. You're not coding the steps anymore.
You're designing the objectives.
You're designing the objectives and the guardrails. And to make that possible, Power BI is getting a huge upgrade with context-aware intelligence.
What does that mean in practice?
It means your sales dashboard doesn't just show you a chart. It connects that data to what's happening in the real world, like, say, a supply chain problem,
Yeah.
and gives you that insight automatically.
And the plumbing that holds all this together seems to be this Dynamics 365 ERP Model Context Protocol Server, or MCP. Why is a standard like this so important?
Because without it, the agents are blind. They can't see the complex data that's locked up inside ERP systems.
So it's a universal translator.
That's a great way to think about it. The MCP server ensures an agent built in Copilot Studio can reliably ask for, say, inventory levels from Dynamics 365. It's what makes the agents truly transactional, not just informational. And this really underpins the whole vision for the new Power Apps, where you're designing agent interactions, not just building forms.
All right, let's pivot to the people actually building all this stuff, the DevOps and SRE folks.
Yeah.
How are they adapting to a world where the main thing they ship is a group of collaborating agents?
It's creating a whole new discipline in reliability engineering, really. Your traditional SRE is looking at latency, error rates, for compute services. But when you have a multi-agent system running on Azure AI Foundry, you need completely new metrics.
You need observability for multi-agent systems.
Yes.
And what are those new metrics? What are you even looking for?
Well, you're tracking things like agent collaboration latency, or prompt consistency failure rate.
Right.
Yeah. And if agent A talks to agent B using this new agent to agent protocol, or A2A, and that link fails, the whole business process just dies. You need new tools to trace that path. It's so different from tracing an HTTP request.
I think that shift is perfectly captured in this detail from the sources. The focus on how to write a great agents.md file.
That agents.md is the new contract, isn't it? It's the documentation. It defines the agent's goals, its protocols, its failure modes.
It's how other agents, or even people, know how to talk to it. The deliverable is no longer just the code.
It's the system description. And of course, the fundamentals are still there. We're still talking about how to design good APIs and system architecture documentation. But now developers are facing new choices. Do you go workflow first with low-code tools for speed, or code first for total control, or some hybrid? That one decision changes everything down the line.
Okay, shifting gears again to the raw intelligence, the models that power all this. This is always big news. GPT 5.1 is available now in Microsoft Copilot Studio. What does a 0.1 release like this actually mean for the developer building these agent workflows?
It's a step function increase in what's possible, especially with context. A typical 0.1 release means a huge expansion of the context window, so agents can remember more of the conversation, reference longer documents. You get it. It means more robust agents that are less likely to, make things up.
Fewer hallucinations.
Exactly. And the platform itself is evolving. The introduction of Microsoft Fabric IQ signals that shift from data platform to intelligence platform. Fabric IQ isn't just a place to store data. It proactively generates insights from the data and feeds them into the agent ecosystem. It's moving from reporting on the past to predicting the future.
I love that the newsletter includes articles that bridge that gap between super complex theory and, well, reality, like understanding convolutional neural networks, CNNs, through Excel.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Taking this core deep learning idea and explaining it with a tool that literally everyone has.
It makes it accessible.
But you also have to challenge the hype. And that article, Do You Really Need GraphRag? A practitioner's guide beyond the hype is so important. RAG retrieval augmented generation is how you ground LLMs in facts. GraphRag adds a layer of complexity with graph databases. It's powerful, but
Is it worth the overhead?
is it worth the overhead and the specialized skills you need? That's the question this article forces you to ask. It's about being practical, not just trendy.
This AI revolution is creating this massive new attack surface, right?
Yeah.
So what's the defensive plan coming out of Ignite?
The focus is really on standardization and embedding AI into the defense itself. So we saw a lot of updates in what's new in Microsoft Defender, for sure. But I think the biggest announcement for most organizations is the Microsoft Baseline Security Mode.
What is that exactly?
It's a configuration template. It lets smaller companies, or any company really, instantly adopt a set of hardened, modern security settings. It's a fast path to getting your defenses in order for these complex new environments.
And I see the business strategy for AI defense is getting clearer too. Security Copilot is now included in the Microsoft 365 E5 subscription.
And that's a huge signal. It says that AI-driven security analysis is now a standard enterprise-grade feature. It's not an optional extra anymore.
So companies will budget for E5 for defense, not just for Office apps.
Right. And it's critical to remember that all of this still relies on that fundamental modern approach. The sources keep highlighting the Microsoft Zero Trust assessment. At the end of the day, if you don't trust the network, you can't trust the agent running on it.
So for our listener, the learner who's taking all this in, how do they turn this knowledge into, a better job? What does the learning section point to?
The curriculum is laser-focused on the new role of the developer. You see things like the Agentic AI crash course, and this tutorial for the new W Copilot Workflows agent will automate your job. They're hands-on guides. They teach you how to design the workflow that instructs the agent rather than writing the code that is the workflow.
And I'm glad to see it's not all just AI. There's some great foundational content here, too. 7 books every senior developer should read, for example, or the complete guide to building data pipelines that don't break.
Durable skills. And, just as important, modernizing the skills you already have. I love the title. If you're still learning Python the old way, try this instead.
Because the way we use Python is changing.
It's shifting to orchestration and model management. And the newsletter even gives you career context with that piece on the 3 ages of data science, helping you see where the field has been and where it's going.
Okay, finally, let's zoom all the way out. What are the big macro trends that are making all this possible?
One word: scale. The article Infinite Scale, the architecture behind the Azure AI Superfactory. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. It gives you a look at the sheer amount of compute power being deployed. You need that factory-like approach to train models like GPT 5.1 to handle millions of agents running at once.
And yet, at the same time, we're seeing this democratization. Microsoft's Office apps are getting even more free AI features, so there's dual strategy here. You need enterprise scale for the really powerful agents, but basic AI is becoming a commodity.
Exactly. And that tension between massive scale and broad access, it often gets resolved through partnerships. The announcement that Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Anthropic are forming new strategic partnerships just confirms it. The market is too complex. You need the hardware giant, NVIDIA, the top model researchers, Anthropic, and the platform provider, Microsoft, all working together. No one can do it alone. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. Okay, we just covered 8 different areas of tech news.
Yeah.
And as you synthesized all that, the central theme is just, it's impossible to ignore.
It's the consistency of the signal, right? The sheer volume of this news just confirms it. AI agents aren't a pilot program or a future concept anymore. They are the standardized underlying architecture for basically all new development. And it's all anchored on these huge platforms: Azure Horizon DB, Microsoft Foundry, Agent 365, Copilot Studio.
It's done. The move from concept to architecture is complete.
It's complete.
We've gone from new database tech and how to write an agents.md file all the way to security baselines. And every single piece points to these intelligent systems that talk to each other using standards like the agent-to-agent protocol. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Given this overwhelming industry focus on orchestration platforms like Copilot Studio and Foundry platforms designed to manage AI, how soon will the value of a developer or an architect shift completely away from writing traditional code and shift instead toward designing, orchestrating, and validating these complex multi-agent workflows? What does that mean for how you plan your own skills and your career starting next year? Keep learning, keep building, and we'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.